we already started one new initiative, the Indian Polity and Constitution based on the textbook of Lakshmikant. And also in the last class we already started the chapter of the salient features of Indian Constitution and discussed some salient features. Today we have to complete this portion, the remaining portion of the salient features of the Constitution. Okay, before starting today's lecture, I am telling you once again, you can share and support and subscribe my channel. It will be very useful for your preparation point of view. Okay, let us start today's class. Another important salient features of the Indian Constitution is our Constitution is the parliamentary form of government. We can say in the world have two forms of government. The one is the parliamentary form of government and the other is the presidential form of government. But our constitution makers opted the parliamentary form of government. The important difference between these two types of government is in the parliamentary form of government have the coordination and cooperation between the legislative and executive organ, but in the presidential form of government the doctrine of the separation of power between these two organs. That is the difference between these two types of government. Then in the parliamentary form of government, also known as the Westminster model of government, Westminster model of government, and also responsible government and cabinet form of government. Okay, our constitution opted this parliamentary form of government from the British Constitution. Then I am going to tell some features of the parliamentary form of government. Here, the first one important feature of the parliamentary form of government is the presence of nominal and real executives. We can see in our country have nominal executive like president and the chief executive, real executive, chief prime minister. And then majority party rule. In our country also ruled by the majority party. Collective responsibility of the executive to the legislature. Once again I am telling three organs of the administration. The first one is legislature and the executive and the judiciary. The legislature making some laws, but the executive implemented these laws and the judiciary punished the violators of the law. In this, the executives have collective responsibility to the legislature in the parliamentary form of government. Clear? Okay. Another important features of the parliamentary form of government is the membership of the ministers in the legislature. That means our ministers also have membership in the parliament. Okay, then the next one is the leadership of the prime minister in the center and the chief minister in the state level. Then the dissolution of the lower house. Lower house means Lok Sabha. Okay, these are the important features of the parliamentary form of government. Can you understand? Okay. Even though the Indian parliamentary system is largely based on the British pattern, there are some fundamental differences between the two. That is, for example, the Indian parliament is not a sovereign body like the British parliament. Further, the Indian state has an elected head, means republic, while the British state has hereditary head, monarchy. Monarchy is the hereditary head, but in India have the elected head. That is the difference between the British system of parliament form of government and the Indian parliamentary form of government. Okay, clear? Then the next important salient features of our constitution is Our constitution is the synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. Actually, the doctrine of sovereignty of parliament is associated with the British Parliament, while the principle of judicial supremacy with that of the American Supreme Court. But our constitution is the synthesis of both. Our constitution have the features of the judicial supremacy and also have some parliamentary sovereignty, but not ultimately. Clear? Okay. Just as Indian parliamentary system differs from the British system, the scope of judicial review power of our Supreme Court is also narrower than the American Supreme Court. That is, our power of our Supreme Court is narrower than the American Supreme Court, because our constitution have both, means judicial supremacy and also have some parliamentary sovereignty, the blend of the both. Okay, this is because actually I told you our judicial supremacy is narrower than the American Supreme Court. What is the reason behind this? Okay, I am telling you what is the reason behind this. The reason is that this is because the American Constitution provides for due process of law against that of the procedure established by law contained in Indian Constitution. That is the difference. That means our constitution means our parliament have the power to violate some fundamental rights by rule established by, but in American Constitution the procedure due process of law against that of the procedure established by law. That is the differences between the that is the reason behind the narrower type of our judicial supremacy. Okay, can you understand? Okay, then therefore the framers of the Indian Constitution have preferred a proper synthesis between the British principle of parliamentary sovereignty and the American principles of judicial supremacy. Then the next important salient features of our constitution is the integrated and independent judiciary. Okay, what is the integrated judiciary and independent judiciary? Indian Constitution establishes a judicial system that is integrated. That means the Supreme Court stand at the top of the country. Below it, there are a lot of high courts for different states. Under high court, there is a hierarchy of subordinate courts, that is district courts and other lower courts. The single system of courts enforces both the central laws as well as the state laws. Unlike in USA, actually in USA, the federal laws are enforced by the federal judiciary and the state laws are enforced by the state judiciary. But in our country have a single judiciary, that is the integrated judiciary. Clear? Okay. Then what is the independence of the judiciary? Actually, our judiciary is independent. The features of some independence of the judiciary is the security of tenure of the judges, fixed service conditions for the judges, all the exercises of the Supreme Court charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. We will discuss about these Consolidated Fund and other things in the coming classes. Okay, the salaries and allowances of our judges are coming from the Consolidated Fund of India, and the tenure of our judges and the security of the tenure and the prohibition on discussion on the conduct of judges in the legislature, ban on practice after retirement, power to punish for its contempt. You know about the court of contempt. You can see in news a lot of things about the court of contempt of court. Okay. These all things are the features of the independence of judiciary. Okay, clear? Then the next important salient features of our constitution was the fundamental rights. Can you hear about the fundamental right? We have a lot of fundamental right. We will discuss about the fundamental right in coming classes. Okay. Actually, the fundamental rights belongs to the part 3 of the Constitution. Okay. Then another important salient features of our Constitution is the Directive Principles of State Policy, DPSP. Okay. These DPSP are made for promoting the ideal of social and economic democracy. They seek to establish a welfare state in India. However, but the difference between the fundamental rights and directive principles are the fundamental rights are justiciable, but directive principles are not justiciable. That means, for the violation of fundamental right, we can go to Supreme Court, but we can't go to Supreme Court for the implementation of the DPSP. That is the differences between both. Okay. The next important salient features is the fundamental duties. We also have some duties for our country. That belongs to the a lot of duties we will discuss in the coming class about the some fundamental duties. And another important salient features of our constitutions is the universal adult franchise. We can see in Indian constitution adopts the universal adult franchise as a basis of elections to the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. Each and every citizen who is completed the age of 18 years have the right to vote without any discrimination of caste, state, class, creed and color, etc. But one important point is the voting age was reduced to 18 years from 21 years in 1989 by the 61st Constitutional Amendment Act of 1988. You can remember this point, the prelims perspective. Okay. The introduction of universal adult franchise by the constitution makers was a bold experiment and highly remarkable in view of vast size of the country, its huge population, high poverty, social inequality and overwhelming illiteracy. Okay, clear? Universal adult franchise means each and every citizens completing the age of 18 years have the right to vote without any discrimination. Okay, this is the important salient features of constitution. The another one is the single citizenship. We have single citizenship, but some countries have dual citizenship. One citizenship for central, another for the status. But in our country, have each and every people have the single Indian citizenship. Okay. Though the Indian city constitution is federal and envisages the dual polity, center and states, but we have only one citizenship, that is the Indian citizenship. We don't have the citizenship for states and one citizenship for state and one citizenship for center. We have only one citizenship, that is the Indian citizenship. Okay, clear? Then another important salient features of our constitution is we have some independent bodies. Actually, the Indian constitution not only provides for legislative, executive and judicial organs, but also establishes some independent bodies. For example, the election commission. We have an election commission for the conduct of the free and fair elections to the parliament, state legislature and the office of President of India and the Vice President of India. Also, we have the Controller and Auditor General of India for the audit and accounts of central and state government. Then we also have Union Public Service Commission for the recruitment of all India services and in the central service to advise the President on the disciplinary matters. And then we also have some State Public Service Commission for conducting the state level examination. These all things are some independent bodies. Our constitution guarantees some judicial, executive and some legislative organ. Along with this, we also have some independent bodies. That is the salient features of our constitution. The another important salient features of the Indian constitution is the emergency provisions. Can you hear? Actually, you know that the Indian Constitution contains elaborate emergency provisions. That is the national emergency, on the ground of war and external aggression, and then state emergency means presidential rule. Then also have some financial emergency. Okay, these all things. The type of emergencies are the salient features of our constitution. The last salient features of our constitution is we have three-tier government. Actually, the original constitution and the other federal constitution provided for dual polity and contained provisions with regard to the organization and powers of the central states only. But the three-tier government is the Panchayat Raj is implemented later with the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. Okay, we will discuss each and every salient features in detail in the coming classes. Don't worry. Okay, this is just a point in the perspective of the salient features. Okay, these are the salient features of our constitution. And in the next class, we will start the preamble, the chapter regarding the preamble of our constitution. And then if you have any doubt, you can comment on the comment box. And then bye bye, we will see in the next class with one just new topic. Okay.